Hey, it's Jack Fables here, and I'm going to give you one of the very best reviews on one of the most iconic movies of 2019, like no one ever has. It is time to do a review on Detective Pikachu, starring Ryan Reynolds. I gotta tell you, it is definitely worth going to theaters to see, folks. I know it's a little late, I'm a little behind and everything, but life gets in the way, but I decided to get my little 2 cents in. Now, a little backstory on those of you who are Pokemon and don't know anything about Pokemon. The franchise started over 20 years ago in Japan, and it was the start. It started as a video game, then it became trading cards, and then finally as an anime series. And then around 2000, or a little before 2000, 20 years ago exactly, in 1999, the first Pokemon animated movie came out, and 20 years later, they've finally done a live-action movie. And I believe with all my heart that Detective Pikachu will actually do something that no other video game movie has done. Make a good one. We've had disasters like Living Dead, Resident Evil with the zombies and such. We've had disasters like Tomb Raider, which, well, it was nice to see Angelina Jolie wear the outfit. It was not exactly good acting or good special effects on both versions. And then, of course, the worst of them all, Super Mario Brothers. Now, I will say this: there are going to be some spoilers in this review, so you have been warned. Now, the story is that a boy named Tim Goodman finds out that his father has died, and he goes to a place called Ryme City. Now, this is a city where people do not battle Pokemon. They all live side by side. They interact with one another. Now, this is where the movie really shines. Because unlike other video game movies, where they either rely on practical effects or they just rely on live actors and live action characters, this one is almost entirely CGI when it comes to the Pokemon. It is ridiculously crazy. It is beautiful. These Pokemon look so real. From the Charmanders, to the Squirtles, to the Bulbasaurs, to Mewtwo himself. They are so realistic, so iconic. They look exactly just like the animated versions. And it is so amazing, it's so great, and it's so wonderful. It makes you wish that these Pokemon were real, that you could touch them, and that you could hold them and interact with them and do battles with them. That's the highlight of the movie. And unfortunately, it is the highest point of the film because the story could have been a lot better. I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to be mad about it, but I solved the film in like 5 minutes. I'm sorry, I've solved it out. It was like, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but again, I warned you about the spoilers. But apparently, now the story is that now the boy I mentioned, Tim Goodman, he he teams up with a character named Pikachu. It's not the same Pikachu from with Ash Ketchum. No, different one. This is a completely different one, but he's still adorable, even though he sounds like Ryan Reynolds. And he and Tim Goodman team up to find his partner, Detective Goodman. Now, they also team up with a reporter and her Psyduck, which I thought was hilarious. I was a funny character that one was. And they go across Ryme City in order to find clues to figure out what Detective Goodman was involved in. And it turns out that it involves Mewtwo, the iconic, most powerful Pokemon in the entire Pokemon universe. Mewtwo, made from the DNA fragments of Mew. Now, they are saying that this is the same Mew that was part of the original 1999 animated movie. So this is supposed to be set in the same universe as the animated films. It's just a different area that hasn't been explored. And this isn't the first time that they've included stuff that isn't part of the games or the main animated shows. These are just one-off areas. I mean, you see them all the time with the animated films. It's just like a one city. They never visit in the anime, or they never visit in the video game, so it's not unusual for them to do this. That's fine. My problem is that the story was a little too predictable when it came to the detective story. It felt a little bit too Roger Rabbit-y for me, but because, you had all the Easter eggs, and then you had, the team up, the detective work and such. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great originally, but as an introduction to what could be the new gold standard of special effects and storytelling for video game movies when the bar is already set low. This is really good. That means the future, and they're already working on a script to the second one, which is amazing, which is great. And then the plot twist is that basically that Detective Pikachu is really Tim Goodman's father, whose mind was transferred into his partner's body in order to save him. And Mewtwo brings him back. Ryan Reynolds comes back as a human at the end, and of course Pikachu goes back to being normal Pikachu. And the reason, and so it's like it's really crazy that now my favorite part was the fact that it's just my favorite part was the Pokemon. I've been a fan of Pokemon since I was a kid. I mean, come on, I got an Ash Ketchum hat for God's sake. I'm holding a Pokeball for, you know, and I've always been a fan of it ever since I was a kid. And to see this movie come to life was amazing. It was like fulfilling a childhood fantasy of mine. And even though the story wasn't that great, I could have been better. I felt like the fact that they were able to put so much effort into the special effects and the emotions that they presented in all these different creatures. It wasn't just like a bad CGI. These were actually really great special effects. These animals looked like they had feelings. They looked realistic. Even the most unlikely and weird looking ones from the show and from the manga and anime, they looked real. I felt like they were real. I felt like I could touch them if this was in 3D. And Detective Pikachu was so adorable. Pika, 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 Pika. They're so adorable. I'm just like, I wanted to hug him. Yes, I love cute things. Yes, I do. Now, and here's my rating for this movie. Oh, here it is. I give it a B minus. And here's why. I give it a B minus because the special effects are now going to be the new standard of every future video game based movie in Hollywood. They're going to have to up their game because this is a perfect example of what a good movie that is based on cartoon characters could be if they actually did put the effort. If they wanted to put it in a realistic world with interacting with real human beings, this is the new gold standard. Because this was like, it was like the Jurassic Park of Pokemon, to where these creatures looked so realistic that you really did think that they were real. There was I don't think there was any practical effects whatsoever in this film. Practical effects being that, animatronics or stuffed animals or anything like that. I don't think there really was any. And that's the crazy part about this movie. Now, again, the story could have been a lot better. I mean, it was a little predictable, like I said earlier in the video. It was a little too Roger Rabbit-y, just a losing guy teams up with a goofy cartoon character to solve a mystery, kind of been done. But it still sets the groundwork for future films. Now, whether or not the future films are going to feature Detective Pikachu, that's a whole nother story. I don't know if they are. I doubt it, because this story kind of is a one-off. But it kind of introduced it to a whole cinematic universe that they could do, kind of like Marvel's Avengers or anything like that. Now what I think they could do to make it better would be a lot awesome is if they actually did a Pokemon League. Because because the one thing I was looking forward to in this movie, they only did one scene, and it was Pokemon battles. Come on! This is a Pokemon movie, and you only got devoted maybe 5-10 minutes to Pokemon battles? I get that this is a detective story, but come on! A real Pokemon battle, and you put it up against Charizard versus Pikachu. Yeah, that didn't turn out so well. But it was still great. I would buy the DVD and I would watch it again and again. And then at the end of the day, this is definitely going to be the new gold standard. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to celebrate the fact that I finally caught the last Pokemon. After years and hundreds of hours later, and hundreds of almost 1,000 Pokemon later, I finally caught them all. What? There's a new region? And it has to do with sword and shield. What? What's this region called again? Oh, y'all have a good day, and don't forget to sign up and hit subscribe down below. Hit the like or dislike button, and leave your comments below. And if there's any movies out there that I may not have seen or you want to see me do a review on, leave a comment, leave a suggestion. I'm more than willing to give my thoughts on them. And also be sure to head up to 50 Shades of Red podcast and watch our videos on us. We discuss other topics when it comes to politics. Now, y'all have a wonderful day, and don't forget to strive to be the very best at whatever you do. Peace out.